are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Happy Friday.
Hey, I'm in San Francisco. We're getting a tour of a dispensary today.
That's awesome. That's a good way to start the weekend.
Yeah. Except I've been trying not to smoke weed, so we're touring the dispensary and their grow house. So I'm really fascinated to see, because I grew marijuana one time for a summer for like just a lark to see if I could do it, and it was really difficult.
It's definitely an art.
Yeah, and so I'm really excited to go see that.
That's awesome. Very hands-on. Well, let's take a break to talk about the Go Big show. And now this time around, it's going bigger with more contestants.
Is it more contestants? Yeah, I'll tell you what, it definitely is going bigger, but that's how it had to lead up. Is like that first season, it was so difficult to get people who were willing to test every day, were willing to get, I mean, it was tough that first season. And this season, it was just so much easier to get talent because people knew that there was a payoff. They knew that they get exposure. And so I think we go so much bigger this season with talent as far as like more diverse talent, in my opinion. A lot of like backyard stuff, a lot of stuff like an amateur escape artist, which I think is brilliant. And it's a guy who gets hit in the nuts with a vacuum, a guy who stands on 100 chairs. Like it's the diversity of our acts is really phenomenal this season.
And I got to speak to you last year doing press for the first season, and I asked you what you had to bring as a host, and you kind of joked, which not surprising, that you had your biggest talent was being able to read prompter. But in reality is that you have that charm to be able to, like you said, loosen up the energy.
Yeah, no, I think, Rosario, I did a movie this year and I got really nervous. I talked to Rosario about it. And I said, I've never acted. She goes, "You're playing yourself, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "You act all the time." She goes, "When you read prompter, when you're on stage, well, that is who you are. And when you're on stage and stand up, that is acting. That is, you don't worry about it." And it gave me so much confidence, especially rolling into this season of going, I don't have to try hard. I'm doing it. And I think this show is really dialed into who I am, my energy. Because I've done a lot of these stunts myself on my previous shows, Hurt Bert or Bert the Conqueror or Trip Flip. So I have a weird repertoire of stuff where I go, I fought a bull one time. I know the peril that Manu is having. I got mauled by a bull once. I fought a bear twice. I've done a lot of these things randomly that people are doing. So I think I'm very Go Big show adjacent.
It's funny. I remember you mentioned have an impulse problem. You like to go and be game for everything, and that's just part of your personality.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have hardcore impulse control. We call it a hot singlet in our house. That's my daughter's got it too. I couldn't be a part of any of the acts this year because I had surgery on my arm. You don't see that on the show, but I had I had just gotten out of surgery like right when we started filming, and so I had a brace on my arm. So if you look closely, you'll see that I never used my left arm the entire season. So I couldn't do anything, and it really bummed me out. But they were like, if we get you involved in anything and you get hurt, we shut down production. And so, and I trust me when I say, if I hadn't hurt my arm, I would have been in half of those stunts. Easy.
Well, you know what? Could always be season 3.
Season 3, I'm going hard. There's going to have to add an extra 30 minutes of internet content of Bert doing each stunt.
And add additional insurance.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. No, there's a couple stunts where like Anastasia Sin, you haven't seen it yet, but when you see her, like, oh my God, there's no way I could have done. No. I mean, when you see her, you're gonna go. It's one of these where you're watching TV and you're like, I mean, it's that good.
I actually had that moment. What a way to hype up the next episode people are going to be watching. Yeah. That was painful. Episode 4, to me, one word, painful to the core.
I mean, there's been a lot of you know, a lot of these acts that I watch and I just go like Horse, I don't know how he can take that punishment to his testicles. I mean, if the wind blows wrong, I double over. Like if I shower too fast, I have pain. You know, when he took a vacuum to the testicles, I could not stop laughing. I mean, he might be my favorite. Like if I was going to take one of these people to open for me on the road, it would be Horse.
Ouch. Yeah. A lot of stunts sound pretty painful, and a lot of them I'm just kind of like, yes, like you said, you're kind of sitting back, like that's really happening.
Yeah.
And and then we get the fun part is that in camera we get to see everyone's reaction, their face and disbelief of what they're watching.
What's crazy is I don't get to see those reactions when we're filming. So last night, Rosario texted me or DM'd me on Instagram a video of her watching Horse get a 2x4 to the junk, and her and Jennifer's reactions were priceless. And I have my own reaction, but my reaction is like, yeah, like their reaction was priceless. And I'm like, oh my God, that's gold. And so but I don't get to see that when we're making the show because I'm off to the side. I've got a different angle. I didn't get to see Bazoo when he flashed the girls. I didn't get to see their reactions there either because I'm too busy trying to get a shot of his junk.
The right shot.
I want to see it too. And I was blocked out. All I saw was thigh and weight.
Well, you didn't get to see that part, but you get to be at front where you get to interact with them. You get a sense of their nerves. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it is very endearing because I was on that side of the stage one time. I did Last Comic Standing too, and I was the nervous contestant. And sometimes you'll see like I won't say anyone's names because I don't want to like sell them out, but like you'll see someone who's like really awesome and wholesome. I'll say a name, Tori Boggs. She's awesome. She's coming up in next week's episode, and you see her just a little nervous on stage, like a little lip quiver, which is very natural. But like you can see her get a little nervous, or like someone will go to do their presentation and kind of stumble and go, "Can I take it from the top?" And you're like, "Yeah, of course. Please take it from the top." I was that kid one time. I went on Last Comic Standing and my knee was trembling inside my jeans. And so when I see that happen, I want them to relax. I want them to be a part of this. I want them to enjoy what they're doing because you know, this is the fun part. You know, this is the part you tell your grandkids. I mean, that being on TV is not lost on me. I still think it's really cool, and you want to see them shine. You know, you want to see them sparkle and be the stars that they are. And so it's cool to see because it reminds you just how important this is.
Well, congratulations on the show. I'm glad that you're all better. I'm sorry you got to miss out on part of the acts, but you know what? You can go hard for season 3.
I'm going real hard for season 3. Macon, we're coming back, baby.
Well, congratulations again. You have a great weekend and a lot of success out there.
Hey, you too. Thank you very much, Nancy.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.